Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen and I appreciate all of you so much. You have stood by me through the most difficult time of my life and I think I have the best viewers in the world. Anyway, today I'm still feeling kind of, not perfectly myself. So I was looking for something really simple to make for dinner. So I'm going to make a really quick dessert and a really quick skillet dinner. And we'll start with the dessert. And I will be right back after I've gathered up I think it's 4 things that we need for the dessert. We'll make it first and get it tucked away in the fridge, and we'll work on the skillet. I'll see you soon. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get much easier than this. I need a bowl and a spoon. And the ingredients, you could make your own graham cracker crust, or you could just buy one that's already been made. And that's what I did. I usually keep a few in the cupboard because they do come in handy for things just like this. You just have to remove the lid off of it, and we're going to hold back that lid. We're not throwing it away because we're going to use it to cover the pie when we're done with it. And we need a 1 liter container, about a quart, it's probably around 8 ounces, of whipped topping of some sort. We need 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and 1 can of any kind of lemonade. I happen to pick up Minute Maid, but any kind of lemonade. Now I have this thawed to room temperature, and then I have a brick of cream cheese that I have softened, and that's what we need to get going. So into this bowl I'm going to put the block of cream cheese, and I'm going to give it a bit of a muck around here before. Oh, I should have used a glass bowl so you could see what I was doing. I'm just mucking it up a little bit to make sure that it's nice and smooth when I mix it. And then I'm going to add to that mixture the lemonade. And I'm going to use the whole container. And let me tell you, I had quite the time trying to find lemonade in the store, the frozen stuff, because most people aren't using frozen juices anymore, so it's a little harder to find them. So the section is shrunk way up. And then I'm going to add to that this can of sweetened condensed milk. I don't know if it helps an awful lot because, like most desserts, this one is sugar heavy. But I did buy low sugar, wait, let me look. It is 30% less fat. Oh, I got low fat whipped topping. Well, I was trying. I did. There's probably not a thing healthy about this. And we all know that desserts surely aren't an everyday thing. If they're an everyday thing in your house, well, good for you. But not in our house. Although we grew up in a family that had, and it must have just been the time, where we usually always had a sweet after dinner. Most of the time it was just a piece of fruit. So my mom and my grandmother both canned, and after a meal we'd get a small bowl, like a fruit bowl, and they would have maybe a half of a pear or a half of a peach in it, or maybe 3 or 4 apricots, and that's how we typically finished off our meals all of the time, especially through the winter when we didn't have those things available to us. So that was how we took in our fruit. But we didn't often have cakes or cookies, or certainly not anything like this. So I'm going to grab my beater and I'm going to mix this up, and I won't make you stay here through it all. There, I think we've got most of that done. I'm going to set that back there. Just going to move these to the sink. And now I'm going to add this whipped topping. And I have let this also sit on the counter for a little while, so I hope it's not too frozen, because it doesn't, it's perfect in fact. It doesn't mix in as well if it's still frozen really hard. So we'll get her in there. Now I think this makes enough not only to fill this pie, but you could probably do a second pie with it. I usually do up just little desserts for my husband for his lunch, because he's a truck driver, and so at least probably 2 nights a week he's not home during the week and has to take little meals. He's got a little fridge in his truck, so I'm constantly looking for ways that I can help him stock his fridge. And these things work really good because I've got little containers that we just reuse, and I can just put a little bit of this. It doesn't need to have the graham cracker in it. It's more like a pudding, I guess. And I'm just folding this in here because we don't want it to lose all of its volume, but we do want it well mixed. So I'm just using the old folding method, and it's getting there. Okay, I think that's pretty well mixed. And I am going to fill this first. And then I am going to stop the camera right about here. And I am going to fill his little lunch containers. And I know how much he's going to appreciate that. Now the lid's going to go on here. And this is going to go into the refrigerator. And I will refrigerate it for till probably, well, the minimum. So we're going to have dessert later after dinner. Probably around 7 o'clock. So this is going to be in the fridge for about 3 hours, I would say. And that'll do it nicely. This dessert, this lemonade pie, also freezes really well. So you can make it up in advance. You could make a couple of them. As you see, I have quite a bit left. You can make a couple of them, put them into your deep freeze and freeze them. And then when you want to use them, bring them out. So it's kind of like cook once, eat twice, that idea. Now I got 3 of these little containers, which hold, I'm sure, at least a cup. And I'm just going to pop those into the deep freeze, into the spot where I keep frozen meals for him. And they'll be nice and frosty for him to take as the dessert. And so I've served a couple purposes here today. I have dessert for tonight, and I have desserts for him for the couple of weeks to come. Now, this skillet meal that I'm going to prepare for today is really as lazy as it gets. I mean, I got up today and I didn't have really an ounce of energy. I haven't fixed my hair. I have barely gotten dressed, but I do love to be able to put food on our table, even if it's kind of junk food. It's something I love to do. So I'm going to start off with a pound of hamburgers. I'm making a pizza pasta skillet dinner. So I'm not going to add any fat to the frying pan. This is lean, and if I notice that it might need a little, I'll add it. But for the moment, I'm not going to. Keep it in there with my hands and break this up a little bit before it gets screeching hot. And this does not take long. And as I said, I don't think it could be lazier. I know that I'll need to speak up if you're going to hear me, because frying food definitely interferes with the voice. Well, that didn't turn out exactly as how I planned. I had the Amazon man come to the door. is cooking. But anyway, no disasters here. I'm just breaking up the meat. And now I'm going to start adding ingredients. Whoops, the sneaker out there. It's just the meat that makes the noise. Once we get everything in here, it'll calm down. So I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of onion powder and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And a whole teaspoon of Italian spices. So this is mixed up. It's got rosemary and oregano. I'm not even sure what all is in here. Oregano, marjoram, salt, savory, sage, thyme. I'm going to put a teaspoon of that in there. I'm going to give that a stir. And this is going to stir a little bit. It took a little while in this skillet, so any of the spices that didn't get like all over the place will get into the sauce. Now, these are not the mini pepperonis, but they'll definitely do the trick. And whatever brand you use when you make your pizza, that'll be good. We need 2 cups of water. Right in there. And that helps to quiet it right away. And then we'll see if I can get into this jar. Yes. And we're going to use this. This is just 640 milliliters. It's not quite a quart. In fact, it's just about, yeah, it's not quite a quart. I'm sure you probably have a similar size in your grocery stores as well. And I'm going to give this a good stir. And make sure that everything is well mixed together. I'm going to turn this pan down to maybe 325. So you want it like on a medium low. So 325 if you're putting it on the stove top. And then we need 2 cups of dry pasta. I'm using rotini, but penne would work here as well, or any small pasta. And 2 cups of dry pasta, along with all the rest of this, is way more than we'll eat in a meal. So again, these are the kinds of meals that I make for my husband. I put them in small tinfoil containers. He has a little electric lunchbox that heats his food. So everything needs to be pre-cooked, but he can put it in his little electric lunchbox and it will cook in there for about an hour and a half. We'll get anything that's frozen all the way hot, thawed and hot. So it's pretty handy. Just plugs into the cigarette lighter because he doesn't have any kind of a microwave in his truck. Okay, you want to make sure that all the pasta is down under there. But just before we put the lid on this, I'm going to add about a cup of mozzarella cheese to it. And we're going to add some more after, but for right now, I'm just going to give that a squidge in there. There. Now, I haven't added any salt to it because honestly, I think that with the pepperoni and the pasta sauce, it's probably good, but I'm going to get a spoon and taste it. Just to be sure it's not lacking. No. Oh, it's plenty salty. Okay. I'm going to set this aside. I'll do a little cleanup and I'll bring you back when we're ready to top this up. See you soon. Now, I've just turned this pan quite a ways down. I tested one of the noodles and it's just al dente. So at this point, I'm going to take the lid off and I'm going to shut this completely off. And I'm going to top it as if it were a pizza. Well, let's start with the cheese. And it's still quite juicy in there. But that's okay because it's one of those things that you need to set for a little bit and allow it to cool off. So I probably put a cup of cheese on top, and now I'm going to dress it as if it were a pizza and just put the pepperonis on and cover the whole entire top. And I'm going to put the lid back on. And I'm going to turn it back on for about 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, just to bring it back to the bubble, because I don't want to overcook the pasta at this point. And once you get the lid back on, the cheese melts pretty quick. So I'm just going to turn it up and I'll bring it back to the bubble, which won't take long because you saw it bubbling, it was screeching hot, so it won't take too long to come back. In fact, there it goes right now. And as soon as the lid on the top starts to get condensation on it again, I am going to shut it off. And then I'm going to leave it completely shut off for 10 minutes. And then I'll be back and show you what it looks like when it's completed. Right now, it's smelling just awesome. I know, it's a lazy day meal, but that's just how the day feels today. Not every day can be fancy. Well, here we go. And I've left it 10 minutes. I set a timer so that I wouldn't be wrong. And you can see now that it's set up pretty good. It's amazing what can happen with just a little bit of rest. And the pepperonis have started to curl up around the edges, which looks delicious. Wow. I hope that you guys give this a try if you're having a lazy day like I am. What do you think? I know that this is good food to feed our bodies on a day when we don't have enough energy to do anything else. And we have a beautiful dessert to look forward to when the evening rolls around. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. Give this video a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with your friends on your social media. Just right below the video, there's a spot where you can share. And if you would share it onto your social media, that means the world to me. Until next time, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.